Hello, this is Dave for That's Us Gaming, and welcome to Dave's Ramblings, where I basically talk your ear off about things I find interesting. Now, today I have one question for you. Have Sony doomed the PlayStation 5 to fail? Now, this is as premature an assessment as I've ever made, but it's really hard to underestimate just how hard this Fortnite scandal has hit them. Now, we have mentioned it before, but for anyone who doesn't know, basically the Fortnite scandal that has currently rocked Sony is if you've played Fortnite on the PlayStation 4 before you played any other version of the game, your account is then held hostage by Sony. You cannot use this account on any other console, which means you won't have access to your battle pass, your skins, any purchases, etc, etc. So as you can imagine, it's pissed a lot of people off. Now, with Microsoft and Nintendo currently teaming up on Twitter about crossplay and the fact that people are now realizing that Sony have actually done this previously with Rocket League and Minecraft, the faith in Sony is low anyway. They're lucky, to be perfectly honest with you, that they have sold so many units before this currently blew up, or I think we could have seen a monumental shift to Xbox before all this happened, you know? But yeah, now, why do I think that this is likely enough to see the PS5 suffer? Basically, look at Sony. This is a company that proudly at the first ever E3 came out and said this.
$299.
Which was displaying its price was $100 cheaper than the Saturn. That's pretty fucking bold. They knew what they were doing, but you know, it was good because they were showing people, you know, they were cheaper, they could run better stuff. But then you skip forward to the PS3.
It requires huge financial investment, $599 US.
To them actually telling people who balked at the price of the PS3 price tag to get another job to pay for it. When Sony is on top, they become complacent. They rely on their name, they use their own proprietary formats like Blu-ray or the fucking eye-wateringly expensive PlayStation Vita memory cards, and that's a gamble. If the format doesn't take off, and with the rise of digital, it's fairly likely people may be moving away from physical discs anyway, it's a big gamble because they have all the stuff they're creating the things. As it stands in the last generation, Blu-ray took off because of the movie industry, as well as the PlayStation 3 actually having, and it won out over HD DVD. But with people moving away from physical discs, it could mean that Sony will be relying on their more expensive hard drives as opposed, like in the last generation, Sony used a lot of money on Sony parts, whereas the Xbox 360 was cobbled together from, for example, I believe it was a Toshiba disc tray and a Hitachi hard drive, and it was a lot more cost effective. Now, when you think that buying Microsoft's new console, or Nintendo if they have one, can allow you to play with friends on PC or a rival console, it makes you more inclined to get it. I got an Xbox to play with my friends, but I'd be happy with another console if I could still play with them. I would much prefer to buy a Nintendo console and play with my friends that way. But if I probably would not have an Xbox if I was able to play a lot of the games with my friends already. That's how it is. You know, you tend to go with what your friends have, but if you don't have to, you can go with whatever the hell you like. But yeah, I mean, Sony keep putting out the "we hear you" message. You know, it just seems more prevalent in today's gaming industry. The whole "oh yes, we hear you, we've heard your complaints," which is basically nothing. I mean, without action, it's going to be a slippery slope for Sony. They already look like twats for Minecraft, but add Fortnite, which is less of a game now and more of a phenomenon. I mean, Christ, my wife plays it. She would play the odd game, maybe Splatoon 2 now and then, but Fortnite, she and even my daughters has been playing it, and they play it cross-play. My daughter will be on the Xbox, my wife will be on the Switch, and they have a good laugh. This is the thing, it's funny how a game like this has really just turned non-gamers into gamers. It's, as I say, it's more a phenomenon than it is a game at the moment. But yeah, because of all this, it's basically turned Sony's name to mud. I mean, if Fortnite is still popular and crossplay is being pushed for another 2 years, I can see Microsoft walking on stage, just like Sony in the first one. They'll come out with their new console just been announced, and they'll say Fortnite 2 with crossplay, drop the mic and walk off stealing the show. Now, as I say, this is a very, very premature thing, but it's one of those things where just one little thing, one little scandal can really, really harm a console's lifespan. The Xbox had it when the Xbox said about pre-owned games, they didn't want pre-owned games, or there would be a fee for pre-owned games, etc. And then the fact that there was a lot more focus on the physical games, etc. And now you look at it now, and sorry, not the physical games, the digital games, and you look at it, and everything now is digital. I mean, yes, you can buy the physical copies. I know there are a lot of people who prefer to buy the physical copies, but to be perfectly honest with you, I can't remember the last time I bought a physical copy. You go into second-hand stores now and there aren't as many physical copies on the shelf because a lot of people prefer the convenience of having that title digitally. So yeah, I mean, even though it all worked out with everything being a lot more digital, Microsoft still lost a lot of customers just because of the timing, I suppose, of saying this. I mean, people were like, no, we're not ready to change, and then the next thing you know, broadband speeds get faster, there's a lot more digital stuff going about, and the next thing you know, then bang, everybody's buying digital stuff anyway. So really, Microsoft probably could have got away with that if they were announcing it this generation as opposed to last. But yeah, I know now that a lot of people will say, well, this is bullshit and stuff like that, but I think I have a valid point, and I would like to thank you very much for listening to me relay that point to you today. And I really hope that you will like, share, subscribe, the usual stuff. We're still, we're over 100 subscribers, but we're trying to get out there. So any publicity you can give us would be absolutely fantastic. And thank you very much for listening. Bye.